Britney Spears' conservatorship case is back before a judge today. It comes just weeks after her revealing testimony about her life under the restrictive legal arrangement. The singer told a judge several weeks ago her conservatorship is abusive and she wants it to end. She specifically pointed to poor treatment by her father, Jamie Spears. He is the person in charge of all her life decisions and finances. Spears said she, quote, just wants her life back. Since then, her court-appointed attorney has requested to resign from his involvement. Bessemer Trust, the co-conservator of the pop icon's finances, has stepped down. Spears has not been allowed to hire an attorney of her choosing. That is expected to be addressed in court today. Even the American Civil Liberties Union filed a brief arguing for Spears' right to pick her own attorney. It is supported by 25 civil and disability rights organizations. For more on this, I'm joined by Zoe Brennan-Krohn. She's a staff attorney for the ACLU Disability Rights Project. Zoe, welcome. Tell us more about what the ACLU is asking for with this amicus brief.
Sure, thanks for having me. In this amicus brief, we're advocating for Britney Spears' right to choose her own lawyer, that there's a right to an attorney in these kind of proceedings in California, but that right doesn't mean anything unless she can choose a lawyer who she trusts, who will zealously advocate for what she wants. And we're arguing that Ms. Spears should have the opportunity to choose her own lawyer and should have the tools necessary to make that choice meaningfully. So access to the telephone and to internet without unmonitored to ensure that she can make that choice meaningfully, and any other support that she might want.
And so how much will this filing by the ACLU ultimately help Britney Spears?
We don't know, of course, but our hope is that we can use that this filing will help raise will help educate the court on how important these issues are and how widespread the civil liberties and civil rights implications are, and how concerned the disability and civil rights community is around this issue. It's an issue. Conservatorship and guardianship is an issue of significant concern in the disability rights community, as indicated by these 25 organizations from across California and across the country who are part of this brief.
And so in some ways, is it sort of helpful that this case is taking place in such a high-profile manner? It's involving a huge pop star, because, as you say, this is a very common issue, or at least it's something that the ACLU has dealt with before, but rarely do conservatorships get this kind of attention.
Exactly. This is a really important case because Britney has the right to choose her own lawyer, and it's also an important case because it's giving the public a view into how conservatorships and guardianships can work and how people can get trapped in them. And that happens all the time across the country. And I think this is a really important case to illustrate how significant these problems are and how widespread they are.
And now, getting back to Britney's particular situation, how significant is it that her attorney and a wealth management company asked to resign from their roles in the case? Did they give reasons for resigning? What does that signify to you?
I don't know, because I haven't spoken to anyone involved, any of them involved, to know exactly what their reasoning is. But I do think that this is a really important opportunity for Britney to exercise her agency, her autonomy, to select a successor attorney and to select someone who she trusts will advocate for her interests. And she has now said that what she wants is to get out of the conservatorship, and she should have the right to choose the attorney or attorneys she believes will advocate for that zealously and effectively. So I hope that this is a real turning point in her case, where she can get the help and the professional support from lawyers, from wealth management folks, that she wants to vindicate her wishes, what she has said she wants.
And looking at those the larger landscape and those cases that you're talking about that exist that aren't as high profile, are there any similarities? In other words, do they tend to involve great wealth, for instance? Do they tend to involve, other than Britney Spears, do they tend to involve older people? What are some of the characteristics that you've noticed of when these situations can become abusive?
Yeah, so people tend to get into conservatorships or guardianships if they have in sort of three categories. People with intellectual and developmental disabilities often end up under conservatorships and guardianships. People with psychiatric disabilities often end up in this situation. And older folks with age-related disabilities often end up in conservatorships or guardianships. And we don't know, there's very, very little data on how many people are in conservatorships or guardianships nationwide. But so we don't know how often these are abusive, how often these are healthy and supportive. We don't know how long they last, but they're a really big invasion of autonomy and of civil rights. It's taking away your right to make your own choices and giving that right to someone else. So our view is that this really opens the door to abuse because it's giving so much control and so much power to another person. There are, of course, conservatorships and guardianships that are not abusive, but the structural ways that they're set up does tend to make abuse possible and make it possible to go on for a very long time. So really, we believe they should be used as an absolute last resort.
Zoe Brennan-Krohn, thank you so much for joining us and shedding some insight into the way these sort of legal structures work. We're all sort of learning about it as we watch Britney Spears' case unfold. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.